Well, looks like we're live. Merry Christmas, Stunt Hangar. Hope you had a good holiday. Santa brought you a lot of stuff, maybe some motors or wood or something. This is the last broadcast from Stunt Hangar West. I'll have to get in the car and drive east in the morning, and that's about it. I don't know what we're going to talk about for the next hour, but I try to keep my streams pretty consistent. One a day for an hour. But this is the holidays. I didn't know whether anybody would show up or whatever. So what I'll probably do is, because this is my last day to work on this, is I'll probably drag the airplane back up here and finish rubbing on it. I've got it really good. I've changed the wheels out. I got my extra good wheels. I changed the spinner out. I got the super light spinner. I repainted it. And I would like to add that with paint in this stage, the 2500 paper works better than the 3000. Less scratches. Now, in a month, the 3 and 5000 will be fine. But this paint is still pretty green. Merry Christmas, Craig. Hope you got a lot of Christmas presents. I got a bag of coal. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. Christmas is for kids, but so let's whip this thing up here and put it on the bench and finish buffing it. I'll work on it anyway, because like I say, this is my last day to work on it. I got to tote it back to Dayton. I'll be back here on the 1st. Well, for the holiday, so we'll do some type of programming from that. Let's see. Well, that's good. I got a goose egg, 0. I don't have any kids or anything, so. So if you guys remember, hey Jack, if you guys remember, I was complaining about a lump here on the trailing edge. Well, you bet, Jack. Merry Christmas. I was complaining about a raised trailing edge here. And I didn't catch it until the flap was on. I was thinking, well, I'll sand that off and repaint it. No. What had happened was the thinner had attacked the glue joint, and that lifted there, the shrinking of the tissue. So what I did was I stuck it on its nose, and I got these 2 blocks right here. Put it right there and there. Put the flap down. I got a little bottle of white glue. Little bottle of white glue with a little stinger on it. And I fished it down in there, clamped it, and left it. So narrowly avoided disaster. So that's a good thing. And let's see, what else was I going to talk about? So I got that all fixed. I was wondering, I didn't see that when I built it. Merry Christmas, Rico, I didn't see that when I built it, and I didn't see that when I finished it. Just one of them things, so you got to be on your toes. Pretty shiny, you know, for new dope. But I got about, like I said, 100 hours rubbing on it. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Craig. My only Christmas present. I'm not doing this for Christmas presents, but it helps. I hope that what I show helps everybody. Oh yeah. Yeah, I got something for Christmas now. Thank you very much. So let's use this waffle pad. See if I can really make it shine. I'm going to be stopping by Dan Winship's tomorrow. We might do a Monday at Danny's from his house or something. We'll see what he's got cooking up. That man's a craftsman. I'm thinking this is really going to bring it up. Waffle pad and finesse it. I posted a picture of this on Stunt Hangar and somebody mentioned they could see grain. Oh well, that's the way it goes. You won't be able to see it when it's done buffing. And that's another thing. If you can't see grain, you got too much paint on the thing. Yep, just like I thought it would come up. It's already shiny, but you want that mirrored look. Like I say, this is my last day that I can work. Hey, Wild Bill, Merry Christmas. Supposed to have some decent weather. I might get to fly it. I have seen 85 and 90 degrees here in St. Louis in February, which is stupid. Splattered it all over the place. I got a Vico. Hey, Jim, I tried to call you. Merry Christmas. No problem. Come on. Come on, get off of there. Let's put some of this shit on it and see if we can get that wax off of it. Yeah, I got a scan of a Vico decal. When I get back to St. Louis, I'm gonna cut up a stencil. I might put Vico on this somewhere, just as nostalgia. Won't be under the clear, but so what? You can see that it really came up. That really helped. I'll get the camera in my hand and give you a tour of the difference. I took all the scratches out of it. That's good. Get some goober here. I haven't been rubbing on this today. I've been doing other things. That really helped. I can't believe it. I can see my face in the black, so that really helps. So waiting an extra day to do that helped a lot. Oh. Hope I didn't dent it. I didn't. Good. Come on, you. Man, looks like plastic. How'd you get that colored monocoat? Gotta get some down here. Yeah, and the tip. Now, it's not as good as Jim's finishes. That man can finish. But he'll do. Oh, we need to pull that out. It's got haze in it. We'll get it. I did all the touch-ups today on this, though. I went around with white paint and I painted all my hinges again, another coat, straight white. So that hit all the grain in those plywood hinges. Don't want to give them judges anything to be looking at. Okay. Big difference from different angles. Yeah. See, there's a little smuts in the corner right there. We got to get out of it. But you can see your face in that paint, so that's a good way to go. Got dirt on here, smuts. Over here. The hundreds of hours of rubbing is ridiculous. You know, you guys say, well, he's doing the same stuff. But this is what you got to do to get it done. Nobody's going to do it for me. And I wouldn't be happy letting somebody do it. Because they'd poke a hole in it and go, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yep. The nice thing about dope is the more you rub it, the shinier it'll get. To a point. If you break the clear and get into the color, it gives you guys know what a tree ring looks like. It'll give you a tree ring. That's not good. When I get back to Dayton, I'll set it on my piano stand and work on it some more. I'll work on it for another month probably. About the time it's ready to fly, you know, it's ready to fly now. We just don't have good weather. I just can't bring it out. It's not in me to bring out an airplane. It's not rubbed out top notch, you know, to the flying field. Merry Christmas, Jonathan. Yeah, they did. They said sure. Let's do the nose again, I guess. I just basically wanted to come on and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good dinner. Santa brought you a lot of stuff. it on the nose here. This is when you got to be super careful with these. Get them all dinged up before you get them finished. This finesse it takes all takes all the compound swirls out of it. 10,000 grit. Remember, this all used to be done by hand. I can remember when we lived in Los Angeles, sitting down on the living room floor in West Covina. I had a Skylark, Ed Southwick Skylark. I had rubbing compound and t-shirts and rags and stuff, buffing, using pledge on them. Buff and buff and buff and buff. Man, you can really see your face in that. That's good. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? We've been on 22 minutes and we got no topic. You just sit here and watch me rubbing on this again for an hour. Yep, you can see your face in it. Just perfect. It's like a bowling ball. Let's see if we can see the camera in it. Yeah, kind of. I don't know, it's not, reflection is not as good as, oh, I see a couple of scratches up there. Have to work on them. Tell us some funny incidents from your early control line days. I don't know about funny. We were flying in Ole's parking lot, and I was flying that Thunderbird that my Uncle Jerry had built and I finished. And Steve Taylor was there, another kid. I think John Martin was there. And back in the day, McCoy 40s were notorious for backfiring. We were just kids. I didn't know about you know, what would happen if you didn't wipe up the oil and keep the gas off of it and all that. Well, my Thunderbird burnt to the ground in the Ollie's parking lot. Blue flame, total blue flame. It just went whoop. Unbelievable. We used to fly in the Tonopah in Tonopah schoolyard. And there was another guy who was a pool man. You got to picture this. This shopping center had a Thrifty Mart, which was a store, and then my dad, you know, a supermarket, and then my dad's pool store. Ollie's was a hardware, and then out behind it was a great big parking lot, about 100 foot by 100 foot, and we used to fly in there and everything. And then we go over to Tonopah School. Well, we had a little mini contest there. Tom Warden flew there. Bill Noyes. I don't know, a bunch of the guys from Whittier and Arrows came down and flew in the parking lot. So that was kind of cool. My dad had put on we, you know, put up some cones and barriers. Otherwise, the cars would drive right through the circle you're flying, and the cars would drive right through, not knowing what's going on. But I can remember. And that's how I know the Continental is classic legal. Even though I've got the magazine issue for the Continental. Yeah, right. Where is it? My memory is everything is related to an airplane in life. This is March of '71. It's March of '71. And this airplane, along with his purple Monado and his green Monado, were at our 1969 contest in that parking lot. And how do I know it was 1969? Because they walked on the moon that year. And it was well, supposedly. They landed on the moon, whatever, supposedly. And that airplane was there. So that airplane is 100% classic legal. And my memory is dead on because when they announced walking on the moon, I was starting an orange voodoo on the back patio, listening to Vin Scully, the Dodgers versus the Giants. And then that following weekend, we had that contest there in the Ollie's parking lot. So that's only, what is it, 60 years ago? 57 years ago? But just like it was yesterday, I remember. Everything I do is, you know, I can remember it related to a model airplane. You name a time, I'll tell you what airplane I had. Oh, I wanted to. This 2500 paper. That's what we want to talk about. This stuff here really flattens things out. Part of the biggest problem with rubbing these out is the open bays, because you can't put any pressure on it. So you got to sit with little strips, inch wide, and rub the open base, trying to stay off the cap strip so you don't burn through and screw the covering up. Hopefully I don't do that in front of God and everybody now. And what will happen is it'll turn flat. You got to go over the whole airplane just like this. It takes It takes hundreds of hours to get it done. You better be into sanding if you're going to be building one of these. And this is the open bays are the hardest thing to do. Let me see if I can show you exactly what's going on. Come on. Okay, if you look at an airplane that's not rubbed out completely, you can see the little shiny spots in it. I don't know if you can see it from that angle or not. Let's try this way. Let's see. Yeah, we're looking right here. You see how it's flat here and shiny there? It's got to be flat everywhere. And I have found that this 2500 paper at this stage with this dryness works better than the foam pad. So I had never tried this 2500 before until today. And it seems to work really good. This reminds me of the Karate Kid. Send a circle. $15, $17. Boyd Coddington. Maybe it wasn't Boyd Coddington. Anyway, one of them custom painters. I can't remember who said it. You got to get the zen of sanding when you're going to do this color sanding stuff. Because it's a pain in the ass. And when I polish it, it will come right up. And that's how you get your airplane shiny, with all this stupid sanding. You want to see any shiny? Jim calls it boning it out, and this will be boned out again before I go to the Nats. We'll take 5,000 and go over the whole thing and do the whole thing once again. But that'll be in several months. Another trick you can do if you're worried about cutting the silk span is trim the corners off the, put a round edge on it. I don't worry about it. I got enough experience sanding I'm worried about, but a lot of guys do worry about it. Because this sandpaper will cut the tissue if you're not careful. So now you got the corners cut off the paper. Now watch, it'll cut it. That's not what I normally do. But. Funny stories. I just don't have no funny stories I can remember off the top of my head. Wonder how all them guys are doing that I used to fly with when I was a kid. Rob Gal, Danny Napolitano, Ken. The hell was his last name? I can't remember. Man, there was so many kids that used to fly airplanes. I haven't seen any of them. Haven't seen any of them. You know, it's just like, I guess 1 in 5 million stick. To make it a lifelong thing. And we were really into it. You know, we used to take airplane parts to school, and everybody be smoking behind the library, and I'd be sanding. John and I were talking, because this is a heavier engine than I'm used to. You know, I'm used to a Super Tiger 60. We'll have more fuel. This is an ounce heavier, plus the muffler, plus that. I might have to put some more clear on it because I don't want to put concentrated weight on it, but we'll wait to fly it before I shift the balance. It seems to be, the balance is pretty far forward now. So if I got to add weight, I'm going to add it in clear. And I'll add it on the back half of the airplane. Yeah, that helped. And each time you do it, it'll help a little more. Take a little weight off too. But you're not going to sand much weight off. Because if you watch my rendition of how paint works, it's down into the wood. You'd have to sand right through the wood to get it off. Now I brought that buffer up to full speed on the hardwood. Do not do that on the open base. Plus it slings shit everywhere. But it brings up the shine too. Oh boy. That stepped it up a notch. See how you can see my hand in it? In the reflection? Let's see what kind of finish we got. We got that's about 2 foot away. Get 2 fingers up, 2 foot away, 4 feet. Let's see, we're 30 inches away. It's a good finish. And like I say, I'll keep working on this until every bit is sanded and polished. You can see your face in. I won't bore you guys too much more with this, but I figured I'd do this. I don't have anything else to work on right now. $14 and $16. I want to rub it until you hear the static. Joanne, what about the story about you? Well, Jim brings that up. Okay. You gotta remember, Jim is about, how tall are you, Jim? About 6'9", 6'8". I mean, just a huge guy. 300 pounds. I'm a buck and a half. You know, at that time, I'm a little heavier now, but huge guy. Of course, I've been around bikers all my life. Anyway, Jim was the appearance judge, and at the Nats, and I think I got 16 points. And the airplane on the top looked really great. And I came to knocked on his door, and I said, "What in the heck is going on with you, Jim? Why am I downgraded so poorly? Tell me, explain it to me." And he said a couple of things, and it made absolute sense. And see, I've been about weight. That airplane only weighed 56 ounces at that time. It's 66-inch wingspan, 56 ounces. And I didn't put as much work in the bottom as that I do now. My airplanes are finished equally bottom and top thanks to Jim Lynch. And I think Jimmy said, I wish you wouldn't have told me that. But yeah, that was something. I was pissed. What the hell's going on here? But after you explain it, it made perfect sense. So I didn't know, so I know now. Ain't gonna get stung again like that. So if you're gonna finish an airplane, finish it equal on both sides. Make Jim Lynch happy. Let's see. Let's see what kind of finish we got. We got a ruler here, yeah. Oh, this is one of them crappy metric yardsticks. Okay. Now the only one that I can see here is the 24-inch. This is how you tell how deep your finish is. Let's see here. Can we see it? Yeah. You look in the black there, you can see the number up the. I'm trying to show you. I can read. Let me do it over here. I don't want to set it on my airplane. I can read 13. So I got to keep rubbing. Got a 13-inch finish on it right now. By the time I'm done, it'll at least have a 2-foot finish on it. If you don't believe me, do it with your airplane. I know your finish, Jim, will be in there. You can do it on your airplanes, but you guys that are watching that don't understand what I'm doing, just take a ruler and stick it up and see what in the shiniest spot. Like the black is the shiniest spot. You should be able to read a number on the ruler, and you want to get it to 24. Some car guys get it to 36, but we don't have enough paint on these to make it to 36. But I'll polish this until I get it to 24 anyway. Right here, looking down, I can see I could shave with this. So it's almost good enough. You know, it probably is good enough as is. I mean, how many guys? John was asking me about, you know, how do they award points? There are no 20-point airplanes. I don't care what anybody says. There's always a flaw in an airplane somewhere. Casminato has a Hellcat, and it's a molded airplane. It's beautiful. He only takes it out to fly the Nats. The year that Jim, Charlie, and I judged appearance. Hey, thank you, Mark Lauerman, for the super chat. Merry Christmas. Mark Lauerman. I don't ever how to say it. Anyway, Casminato did the same thing that I did to Jim. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. He did the same thing to me that I did to Jim. He said, he brought his airplane to me. He said, "Where flaw?" And I knew he was going to do that. And I went, "Right there." And he went, "Oh." Because we gave him 19. There are no 20-point airplanes. They're close, you know. There's always a mistake. Always a mistake. And the guy who built the airplane can can sit and point out every mistake because he's touched, massaged, and careened that airplane for a year. He knows exactly where they are. But to the average guy, when you set this airplane down on the ground, especially in the sunlight on a hot summer day, and they're standing 10 foot away, they're beautiful. They look flawless, but they're not. So I feel that 19 is going to be the top. You know, that's out. You know, John was asking me, how do they judge airplanes? Well, nobody gets a 0 unless you didn't build it. I've never seen anybody get 5 points. I did see somebody get 10 points one year, and my dad felt really bad for the kid. And I said, well, you know, all that is if he has the intestinal fortitude, all that is drive to make him better. You got 10 points this year, you get 11 points next year, 12 points, 13. You just keep doing better and better and better. So the spread is only about 9 points between the worst airplane and the best airplane. Usually on the front row, there's 4 or 5 19-point top models. They have awarded 20 points. I haven't, but they have awarded 20 points before. I think the guy from Washington or Canada, I can't remember his name, another Hellcat molded airplane, he got 20, but I wasn't judging. I think Kenny Stevens might have got, I know Gene Martin got a 20, Wendy got a 20. I mean, these are exceptional, just, you know, out of the realm. I don't know, the guys who were looking at them must be looking in the right spot. Anyway, so you get a 9-point spread. So you try to take the worst airplane and the best airplane, and you separate them by rows. So you put the best ones up front, and they get consecutively worse as you go back. But, you know, in all honesty, the kid who got 10 is a winner. That's, you know, 10 points. Okay, great. What would he have got if he didn't do it? He'd have got a 0. So 10 is better than 0. And you're only 9 points apart from the top guy to the bottom guy. So anybody that builds their airplane, no matter how it looks, is a winner in my eyes. Just remember, finish starts with a first piece of wood cut. All the lines got to be clean. All the joints got to match. Wipe the glue off. That's another thing. If you spill some glue somewhere, wipe it up. It doesn't take much. There's no need to carry that around. Cut out any of the wood that you don't need to carry. If it ain't touching something, you don't need it. You know, I've seen guys with stuff hanging off here on the inside of the wing. What's that for? Well, I don't know. Cut it off. You don't need it. So that's how you get it lighter. And weight is very, very important. I don't care what anybody says. Brett Buck says, no, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter because they can't do it. That's the way it is. Because if they'd have done a light airplane, they'd have done it. You know, it's like Billy. I'd love to be able to build as light as Billy, and part of that is his name. Everybody sends him the ultralight wood, so he's got the lightest wood. Let's see. Craig said something. I agree with you 100%. Now, back when I started, it was 40 points. They had 10 for originality, 10 for craftsmanship, 10 for finish, and 10 for detail, I think it was. And I think if you spend a year building an airplane, it ought to be worth the price of one maneuver. And we don't have 20-point maneuvers, we have 40-point maneuvers, so it should be worth one maneuver. But there's so many crybabies that aren't building, they're not going to allow that to happen. They don't want to be put at such a disadvantage of, you know, 40. You know, there's just too much of a gap, they think. We used to get 5-point starting bonus. They took that away. It used to be maybe I think it was 80 points at one type for appearance, but I know 40 for sure. They took that away. Remember, when they take something away from you, you will never get it back. So don't let them take that BOM away. If it wasn't for the builder and model rule, as far as I'm concerned, this hobby would be dead. It would be buy and fly. Some guys would go to the hobby shop and buy a airplane and take it out and crash it and go, oh, I'm done. It would not. It would become NASCAR. And now, from what I understand about NASCAR, everybody's driving the same car. They have a standard set of body templates that a Ford Mustang will look like a Ford Taurus. It may be painted different, may have Mustang, emblems on it. A Dodge Charger will look like a Ford Taurus. They're all the same body style because of wimps, whammy-pammies, crybabies. Brung what you brung, take what you get. When I flew open, all we had was junior, senior open. There was no intermediate, advanced, expert when I was flying. And I came back and I said, Gary, where do you think I ought to fly at the Nats? He said, well, advanced. I said, well, I'm not an advanced flyer. I was open. So I just, if you're going to get beat by the best. Don't get beat by the worst. That's my theory. And you just strive to do better every year. I've made top 20 in the last 10 years 3 times. Haven't made top 5, long ways from first place, but I don't have the time to practice. Could I do it? You bet. I just have to dedicate that time to it, and I just don't have it. It's all about dedication, and you got to give them guys a lot of credit to go out there and spend. I build because it's easy. I don't have to go anywhere. And 100 hours a week rubbing. They go out and spend 100 hours a week flying. So obviously going to get good. The best I ever flew at the Nationals was the year my dad was here, and that I flew that Continental that I sold Tim. I finished 21st, but that was the best I've ever flown. I was outside the top 20. I missed it by 1/3 of a point. Phil Granderson beat me out. That's the year he won the concourse with his Diva. And I feel I flew better than him. But the judges didn't see it that way, and you just take what you get. And I've been, I think, the best in the last 10 years in top 20. I think I've been 17th, which is, for a guy who doesn't fly 4 or 5 flights a year, that ain't bad. I don't fly all that much anymore. But it's not the number where you place. It's not the score that you score. It's a way of ranking the best to the worst. And even the worst is a winner in my eyes. The guy whose last place is still a winner. He showed up. He built his airplane, whatever. So I hope that rant makes sense in my feelings. You just do what you got to do, and it costs a lot of money to do this stuff, that's for sure. But in the grand scheme of things, I ain't spending no money compared to what I did on motorcycles. $2,000 crankshaft, $2,000 heads, wheels, $1,000 a piece. This is cheap. This is cheap entertainment. Like I say, you buy $10 worth of sandpaper and have 100 hours of enjoyment. Where can you do that? You can't go to the bar and do that. And let's see what. Well, Yogi, let me tell you, I'm not the best. Let me tell you what I noticed about building model airplanes. You can take the top airplanes built by 5 different guys. They're all very similar. They all are shiny like this. They're all constructed like this. There's few mistakes. The difference is in the sanding. I can tell who built the airplane by how it's shaped. Hunt has a way of doing it. Walker has a way of doing it. You know, I can just look at it and say, well, I know who Billy Warridge has a way to do it. I know who sanded that, but they all look very similar. So am I the best? No, no. We're all pretty much equal. I mean, you may like my style, but you know, there's plenty of guys at the Nationals that are better builders than I am, actually. All I'm doing is sharing what I know with you guys. And, you know, do I know everything? No, not yet. But we're learning. Learn by mistakes. I make mistakes. I even make mistakes on camera. Dan Winship told me the difference between a craftsman, a journeyman, and an apprentice is when the mistakes happen, they know how to correct it instantaneously. So an apprentice will go, well, let's think about this. When I make a mistake, I look at it and go, shit, I made a mistake. I know exactly how to fix it within a minute. Like I had this this landing gear. It was real loose. Or was it the other one? Might have been the other one. It was way looser than this. This is acceptable. And I didn't fret. I didn't glue it in. I just glued a dowel in and re-drilled the hole. It's the other one that I fixed. But it's knowing those little tricks, and like when you get a hole in the silk span, how to tear a patch, and you can't find a spot anywhere on this where I patched it, and it does have patches in it, because if you're going to cover with silk span, you're going to poke holes in it. I don't care who you are, but you better know how to fix them. The Monado, the day that I took it out, if you go back on the channel and look, the first flight, very first flight, I rolled over a stick and it went right through the bottom of the wing. I had to bring it home. Couldn't continue to fly it. Bring it home, turn it over, tear a patch, put it on there. It's on the YouTube channel here on Stunt Hangar somewhere. Me repairing the bottom of that. You can't see it now. Dope is super forgiving. If that had been urethane, I'd have been sunk. Well, thank you very much. I guess we'll wait until that super chat goes off the screen. I really appreciate the super chat to Mark and Craig. At least we got something for Christmas. Won't see it for a month, but that's something. Yeah, if you built your airplane and you show up, you're a winner. Everybody was laughing at this guy at the Nats who had this thing that had 3 motors on it and 3 wings, and it was made out of push rods, carbon fiber push rod tubes. And they were all making fun of him. If you watch that thing actually flew really damn good. I mean, it really had a corner on it. But the prejudice, they were never going to score him. He's not a big name. The thing's goofy looking, but it had the best corner to the rule book I've ever seen. He had 1 engine quit, or maybe it was 2 engines quit, and it was inverted or something. He had to do an outside loop over the ground on circle 1, so he went underneath the ground ceiling, off the edge. He got it up. I remember that like it was yesterday. That thing was cool. I mean, really strange looking, but cool. I don't remember his name. What the hell was his name? I'm sure there's somebody on here who knows who I'm talking about. He's an East Coaster, I think. Wendy's painting motorcycles. He's passing on his model airplane tips to the motorcycle community. On his last video, I asked him, "That thing going to do the pattern?" He never answered me back. I called and talked to him. Something about model airplanes, he'll be back. I figure about if he ever has a spill. I got off motorcycles and back to airplanes, and when I did that, he went from airplanes to motorcycles. He's 10 years older than I am, and if he ever falls down, the ground is hard. It's really hard. I can remember my last crash behind No Show Joe's garage. Yeah, like it was yesterday. I did $3,000 worth of body damage to my dresser. Ah, man. He'll rethink motorcycle riding when you take a spill like that. And he rides them crotch rockets. What happened there was somebody asked me how fast is this motorcycle. We were in the alley, and I did a rolling burnout over this little patch of water. Because my motorcycle put out like 130 horsepower, not 100 like most of them. It was my motor was a 120-inch stroker, about 125 horsepower, we'll say. I can't remember exactly on the dyno. It was in between. Thunderheader, all that shit. Anyway, I did a rolling, smoking burnout. I came to the end of the alley. There was moss at the end of the alley. I grabbed a handful of front brake to try to stop, and the front end went around, and it went down, and it slid all the way across the street and hit a curb on the other side. And my club brother Bone was there. No Show was down looking, and they all come running over. They helped me get it up, and I was in shock. I was shaking. And they said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, get on this thing and ride it home." I rode it home, put it in the garage, and walked on a broom for a while. And I asked No Show, "Come over here, let's take it apart." And I took it apart and had it fixed before I was healed up. But boy, is that ground hard. I remember it was like it yesterday. I said, "That's it. We ain't going to do any more of that stupid shit." Valuable lesson. I don't know why I did it. Anyway, we're a little bit over an hour now. That super chat is just hanging on there. What do you guys want to talk about? I'll spend until the super chat goes away. Pick a subject. I'll tell you what I know, which is not much. see the reflection pretty good. Bottom is about halfway done. I gotta watch these lights and stuff here. I don't. Gotta go over the bottom again. I got some spots on this to do. We ain't gonna get hung up by Jim Lynch again. Why doesn't the bottom look as good as the top? We'll get it, that's for sure. And they told me if you can't do it perfect, leave it off. Ink lines, trim, whatever you're doing, it better be perfect. Now these things sticking up are hazardous. Let's see what we got here. When do I think I'll fly this plane? Maybe next week. It's supposed to be 60 degrees. If it's 60 degrees and no wind, we'll go next week. But the Lafayette Escadrille isolated contest that happens on my birthday was started by me 25 years ago. And I haven't flown it in the last 10 years. I can't go out there. It's too damn cold. If it was 90, I'd go out there, but I used to be gung-ho into it. I was flying a Viper with an OSVF 46 in it. Oh yeah, it'll get videoed. So it'll go from concept drawing, you know, where I drew the side view in August, assembled the airplane, and then a few months back a month ago I did the paint drawing, and I'll staple all that together, and then to the field. We'll go fly it, see what it looks like. I have great hopes for it. You know, some of the airplanes I build, I don't have great hopes for. I just have mediocre hopes for it. But this one here, everything's right on the money. I'm glad I was able to fix that spot on the wing. I don't know why I didn't show its head before I glued the flap on, though. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I got it nonetheless, so it'll be fine. Never had that happen before. Never have had that happen. John seems to think, you know, we've been doing it like that now for, I don't know. Since I've known John, anyway. I've been building wings like this for the last 15 years. Never had it happen. Just one of them deals. John seems to think I didn't get enough glue on it because I'm trying to use less and less glue. But if you don't catch it, if you don't fix it, what'll happen is it's like a phone book. You ever seen them guys tear a phone book in half? Well, it's not that hard if you know the secret. It works like dominoes. You get the first page started, and it's easier to rip it from the back than it is the front. Trust me. You break it. You break the spine, and you can hear it break, and then rip it apart. You don't have to be, Superman to do it if you know the trick. But it's like a phone book or like dominoes. If you don't address a problem, if you have a little hole in the covering, if you have a little piece that's coming unglued, under stress, that's where it will start, and it will act like dominoes. It will go rip, boom, and then your airplane goes pow. It just flies apart. It's like that guy at the Nationals that did a prop strike on that electric model, which was a Crossfire. I felt bad for him because that was a beautiful airplane. I can't remember his name. Him and his wife go there. The white, red, white, and blue crossfire. Prop strike, it went a half a lap and on an electric motor. And why that thing didn't shut off, I don't know, but that thing exploded. That airplane exploded like it was hit by a missile. So it was like a domino effect. It was prop strike, engine bearer or whatever, and then pow, and the airplane just exploded. That was on circle 3. No, 2. Circle 2. Pow, just unreal. That is in the category of shit happens. Obviously you didn't try to do a prop strike. But when you got an engine spinning 10 grand or ever how fast they go as electric motor, and it's out of balance, wow, what a disaster. Now, if you remember, when I refinished my Junar, I knew better than to do it, but I did it anyway. I went out there and did a reverse wing over, and it didn't quite fly the same way. It didn't turn as fast, and I pulled out inverted and did a prop strike and broke the propeller. Fortunately for me, I have these engine crutches are built rather well, but I flew a quarter to a half a lap, and I ditched it in the weeds, or that thing would have flown, just blew apart. No matter how good you build them, they'll just explode. So the only thing I ended up losing was a 13.6 rev up. So that's a good thing. And then I changed the CG on it, and it flew similar to what I wanted. But this airplane here, I'm going to check the balance on the other one and see where it balances, and then check the balance on this one and see if I can move the CG back a little farther. Because this airplane balance is pretty nose heavy, to be honest with you. I got aluminum spinner. This spinner is 7 grams. This is one of them Medusa spinners, 7 grams for the spinner. And my other one is heavier, so I took that off, and just trying to move the CG back so I can get it to turn, because this is a light airplane, and you can only speculate, do as good as your mind can think of. Are we going here? Yeah, it's still alive. I've never seen a super chat stay up that long. Of course, it's been a long time since I had $100 super chat. I got one other time, and that was from a guy in England. It was 100 pounds. I don't know how many ounces that is, but 100 pounds. That was cool, because I didn't know the guys in England were watching me, but sure appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys do, and I hope that throughout the year you guys get some enjoyment out of watching at the bench, watching my building videos, watching at the field. It takes a lot of effort to get this done for you. But where are you going to get content like this? Who's going to do it? If I don't do it, who's going to do it? Nobody. John says, I don't know how you go there and fly contest and videotape. Well, I'm not real helpful with the contest direction, but at least we get it out there to you guys. Slung all kind of crap all over it. Anyway, that's my Christmas present. I'm glad that I did it. Well, that's the thing. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. We'll get by. Not a requirement. It's just appreciated. No problem, Jonathan. If you don't worry about it. If you got no money, you got no money. This is don't be like the United States of America and go in debt over something stupid. The United States of America is we got no money, we'll just print some more. It's stupid. We're out of money. Quit spending. That's what I do. Got no money, you don't buy nothing. Well, my next project is going to be working on the Sig Magnum. We're going to do that back on the Magnum. We're going to go, we'll get back on that when I come back on Friday. I got to go tomorrow and work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So I'm going to drive there, work for 3 days, come back, and I'll work on the Magnum for a couple of days. I do have an Excalibur that I'm probably going to put together for profile. That Dick Mathis Excalibur flies pretty well. I'm not sure it's classic legal, but I know it's profile, legal. Anybody happen to know where the Dick Mathis Excalibur's classic legal? Might be. So we'll do that. I got an OS 32F for that, brand new. Everybody overlooks that motor. That motor is great. That 32F is great. It's, everybody says, well, you got to run a Thunder Tiger. No, you don't. No, you don't. 32F. I got a 32F in my Tucker. I got a 32F in my Nobler. I got a brand new 32F right here. These babies work good. If I got the needle valve for it. Of course, we can always change it out. I don't have one. Unless it's taking it, put it in something else, we can always change it out for a PA needle valve. This brand new, never been run. You can see inside the cylinder there. Never been run, never been mounted. How I started using these was I had a Viper back in the 90s with an OS 40 on it with a less nearing pipe. Bob McDonald made me a wraparound header. And it worked okay. I mean, it worked decent. But we were in Schaefer's hobby shop. Ron O'Toole says, hey, let's look at that motor. So we looked at this one. That's a helicopter engine. I mean, it's a high RPM screamer. I can't see what that says. But you run 11-inch prop. No, they don't make those. Anything that's any good, they quit making. You can get them on eBay, though, if you look. But that little 32 will turn an 11.45 propeller like it's nothing. It'll turn it as fast as you want to go. And they brake really nice and track real good, and it's a great engine. and they 4-cycle. You can run it either way, 4-cycle or piped. I have a header somewhere that I could put it on a pipe, but I don't know. This airplane doesn't have a pipe on it. It has a muffler. I think I'm getting away from the pipe. It's just too much weight that I don't see a huge benefit to. Especially like on these PAs, they run great on a muffler, you know. But we're gonna go 4 more minutes for an hour and a half, regardless, because I got to go to the bathroom. And I don't want to hang you guys on. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I hope that you like the show, and we'll see you. You know, probably Friday. Well, I'll be back at date, and I'll probably do the Monday night chat with Charles, and then be back on Tuesday at 7. I don't know what I'll be doing. Probably rubbing till I get back here, and we could do some building. I got to put this stuff together, and I'm trying to get moved back and forth, so I don't want to tote a whole lot of crap over there. I'm not sure. It's a stock Venturi. Call Lee Machine Shop. Jim Lee will make you a Venturi for it. Lee Machine Shop can be found on Stunt Hangar. Lee Machine on one of the ads in the thing, and Jim will fix you up. He knows what size they are. Like I say, like, subscribe, and share. Merry Christmas. We'll see you probably tomorrow night on the chat, only from Dayton. So fair winds, tight lines. See ya. Thanks for the super chats.